Hello and welcome to the Global Innovators in Business series. In this series, we interview leaders and innovators from different fields to share their experiences and advice with undergraduate students to provide inspiration and motivation. Today we have with us Malaika Judd. Malaika is the co-founder and CRIO, the Chief Investment Relations Officer at Sendy. And tell us a little bit more about Sendy.
Sure. So Sendy is a fulfillment and tech platform. So we say that because we started 8 years ago and we wanted to be tech only, but we built in a developing market where you have to be very operational. So what we do is we build end-to-end technology to help businesses fulfill their goods to consumers, retailers, businesses, etc. We primarily set up 8 years ago thinking we were going to do e-commerce. We thought we were going to be the shipbot for Africa. Turns out e-commerce has been a lot slower to grow over the last 8 years than we expected. And then through that whole process, we even give them access to inventory loans, invoice financing. And the frustrating part is that you have a developing market who's paying more for locally produced products than a developed market is paying for those same products imported. So our goal is if we can reduce the cost of fulfillment, reduce that warehousing, picking, packing, delivery, payment processing, etc., we can reduce the cost of goods on the shelf in the local market. And so the wonderful part about all of this is it is a great environment if you also don't want to be a specialist, if you like being a generalist, because you learn everything, to touch on everything, which is good for me. I think this is a problem for any entrepreneur. I think the thing that's been great about this environment, I touched on it before, is that it's a very collaborative environment. It's not so competitive right now because there's enough problems to solve and there is not that much money and there's not that many entrepreneurs that we have to work together. And so how I've managed it is that every entrepreneur in this ecosystem is my support system. So every time you think that your company is going to die or you've just dealt with the Kenyan Revenue Authority telling you that you owe millions and millions of dollars of taxes and they're auditing you for 5 years in a row, you think the worst thing ever. You go to dinner with all the other entrepreneurs and then you hear their story and you're like, oh, my life's not so bad. And so I think my support system has been everyone else who's trying to solve problems, who's trying to build companies in Kenya or Africa who are dealing with the same challenges, and they're all brilliant. They're all super hardworking, super entrepreneurial, super well-educated, super focused on impact. Even if they also want to build $1 billion business and make a lot of money, it's still very impactful and very inspiring and a great support system. So I don't think I said there's a lack of female entrepreneurs in developing markets. Actually, one of the interesting things is that you find a better percentage here than you do elsewhere. I think that has to tie with values and impact. This is just my interpretation. I think there's more of the females that go out to be entrepreneurs are focused on what is the impact of what they're building. And so as a result, you find a better skew of female male here than you do elsewhere in the world. What is the percentage elsewhere in the world? 20%? I don't know. But so yeah, if you look at the NGOs or you look at hospitals, or there are so many more females in those roles because they're more impact focused. That here in this entrepreneurial ecosystem, that the ratio is better than the global ratio. It's probably still not 50-50. That's true. But it's definitely better than the global ratio.
Do you have any advice for younger students who are looking for a career in impact and unsure of what to do?
For me, what was difficult is growing up in that environment, wanting to be part of that top 1 or 5%, knowing what that path looked like, and then potentially not making it, not having that management consulting job. So what did I do? I ended up at a volunteer organization in a village in France, and then I ended up doing a master's, and then another master's, and then I worked in Amsterdam at a corporate environment, and then I ended up in Africa. Nothing happened the way it was supposed to happen at all. And now I've been doing this for 10 years. So I'm the biggest advocate of you don't have to follow the path that we are told to follow. For me personally, one of the best things I did was take myself out of that environment. I put myself in this environment where it's less competitive and so much more collaborative and so much more I still want to be amazing, everyone else around me is still coming from brilliant schools. They're still like super ambitious people. They still want to have impact, but it's not let me climb over you to get to the top. It's actually like, I see the value of working with you. That has been really helpful in my own balance and own self-confidence and peace. I would say that like my experience at Sendy or with Sendy has given me like an MBA over and over again, like through the highs and the lows, the expansion, the layoffs, the fundraising, everything. Like I've learned all of that. So I still learned, I still grew, I still achieved a lot, and I didn't have to do it the same way that everyone else did. I'm thankful that all happened because it completely changed the trajectory of my life. And I think just being open to that, like even when you get laid off right now in this environment, all these people who are getting laid off, like this can be a blessing. Like it can completely change what you're going to do and open up so many other opportunities.